Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to this episode of 49 Faithfullee. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing good.
How's everything? Been a long
Every-
time since you played hooky again.
Yep, that's what I do best, I guess.
See, chat, I told you, you don't show up to work. We saw it again this weekend.
Yep.
So it'll be good to get your thoughts on the game for the first time. I haven't talked to you since the win, so it'll be my first time hearing what you had to say too. So before we get into that, what's up, chat? Swan cheated and left a comment like hours and hours ago, so we know
The
he
heck.
really ain't here. So we're gonna count Tia as the first in the door. What's up, sis? Hope you're doing well. Bryant, what's up? 49ers Jive, good to see you. Melissa, what's up? What's up? Hope everybody's doing well. Let us know, chat, how you guys feeling after this win over the Cowboys? How you guys feeling this week? Nervous going into this game? Let us know in the chat how you're feeling overall.
Yeah.
Before we get into the games, though, I want to go over a few things. Let's start with some news that came out, I think, yesterday on defensive line Charles Omenihu. When I woke up yesterday, I slept in a little bit yesterday, and then when I woke up, that was the first thing I seen, that Charles Omenihu had been arrested for domestic, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Like right now, of all times, like you don't want to ever, right? But like right now, this is not what our team needs, you know?
hmm
Um, and like it just sucks because the 49ers, and we don't know, right? Like I'm not going to get into whether we don't know if it happened. It's right now it seems like a he said she said thing.
hmm
um so we're not going to get into, obviously we don't know if he's out there beating her, he's a piece of crap, or he's not, he's innocent. Like we don't know none of that, right? Like she could have lied, she could have hit him, you never know what's going on, right? But at the end of the day, like the 49ers don't need the distraction right now.
Yep.
um and the 49ers, we know that they pride themselves now on getting like high character people, guys that stay out of trouble, especially after everything that's happened in the past, right? And it we obviously know Menahue was somebody that we traded for. So like how much time did they even put into any of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It just sucks all around. Obviously, I hope she's good. I hope, he's good. If something did happen, I hope they both get, the help, whatever it is that they need, right? You don't want to see nothing like that happen. Um, but the news came out today with Shanahan speaking about it in his presser, and they asked him, and he says that he'll stay with the team and he'll be available to play as long as he's healthy, because he is on the injury report right now.
hmm
Um, but Kyle pretty much just said, they'll let the legal process play out, and, they won't make any decisions on it right now. And obviously, Eagles fans are in the comments of the post, like talking shit, like, oh, you guys are letting criminals play and like all this stuff, right? Because that's, who we're playing. So they want to be there trolling.
Of
Um,
course.
what are your whole thoughts on it? Do you think the 49ers made the right move, like with that part? Um, and do you expect him to play this weekend?
I find it funny how the Eagles fans are talking about us, having criminals and all this stuff when their own fans are criminals. When
Right?
did you hear you said they stole that cornerback's car?
Yeah.
That corner, yeah, he was like, somebody stole my car, and like their own fan base after a win. So miss me with that foolishness of, oh, you playing criminals and all this stuff. I think it's been a while since we've had some issues like this. I mean, I think the last one that had an issue with issue with any kind of domestic violence was Reuben Foster. And I
Yeah.
think that put that sour taste in their mouth where they're like, no, all we want is high character guys on this team, And before that, I feel like the Niners pretty much are pretty good at staying out the limelight. Like the last few I can remember were like, I know like Ray McDonald had his issue. Then we had the Bruce Miller situation, the fullback when he beat up that old man at the
Yeah.
hotel, which was crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much they looked into Charles Omenihu, see what they did. I mean, what they gave up a 5th-round pick for him, and I think he's a free agent after this year. So I believe, like, after they do some research and they figure out what's going on, whether he did it or he didn't, like Miriah said, who knows? We're not going to sit here and pass judgment because people lie all the time. It could be anything. Like he could be breaking up with her and she's pissed, like, oh no,
Yeah.
you're not going to leave me, because he's rich, and you know how it is. So it could be anything, but it's a good thing that he is a free agent, so we don't, so if we do have to cut losses, it's not going to be any penalty towards us. We can just let him walk,
Right.
But if if it is true, I'm highly disappointed. I don't condone putting hands on women unless they're trying to kill you or something like that, you know what I
Right.
mean? But other than that, like, I just hope, we need to be better than that. This is a gold standard organization. We're known for being the upper echelon of teams and stuff like that. So, I just hope it's not true. We're gonna let they're gonna let due process take place so to see exactly what went on. But I will say this: if they find out anything before the game, and if it's true, I'd sit them.
Yeah.
There's no way that you're going to play after having the situation. And if not, of course, you play him if he's healthy. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about that situation. But, we have to be better as a fan base and as a 49ers organization. And what we do when it comes to like we can't be hypocrites and be like, oh, well, just let him play. It's just, all he did was push her. He didn't punch her. Like, no, I still putting his hands on somebody. So yeah. So, that's all I have to say about that stuff. But, I just hope the best comes out and we find out that, that it's not true and she lied or whatever the case may be. So
yeah, and I mean that's pretty much all we'll say on it until of course, once further news or additional stuff comes out, then we have other stuff to go on, and we'll talk about it. But until then, I just wanted to touch on it because obviously that's news happening with our team. So, real quick, let me say what's up to those that have joined. Ty, I see you. He walks in the door and throws Melissa's number in there right away because she's been winning everything with that number lately. She won back-to-back giveaways on the Instant Reaction show this week for 38.
that's insane.
Yep. Throwback, what's up? Good to see you. Chrissy, what's up? That from people who have a jail at their stadium. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, real quick, Tony from Nothing But Niners want to know if you can send them the link if you're okay with getting on. Yeah.
Real quick chat. Let's add the GM to the show. Let me go through here.
Yeah, they got a holding cell.
JDLR, I see you.
Yeah, team that got a holding cell up underneath, and you want to sit here and talk about our team. Miss me with that.
All right. All right, so
cool.
We'll wait for him to join us in a few.
Yep.
So let me see who else joined. Chrissy, JDLR, late. Unacceptable, JDLR. What are we gonna do with you? Moses, this is like 3 shows in a row that you made it to. It's a record. Let's see. Melissa says how when I asked the chat, and those that have joined that didn't hear at the beginning, let us know how you're feeling this week. Are you nervous? Are you excited? What's the mood? What's the vibe? Let us know. Melissa says, I'm just dying to speed up to game time. I agree. A bunch of people were talking about how they are kind of mad that ours wasn't the night game, yada, yada. And I'm like, not me, because I hate having to sit through the other games. Like this past weekend, like, sorry, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, it's all good. So while Miriah is muted, I'll give my take on the game from last week since we have a little pause here. Um, I thought it was a great game. I think all of us on here were kind of like scratching our heads about that point spread, and we were all correct. We were all like 46 just seems kind of crazy to me. You know what I mean? Because we all thought, you look at the Niners, all season other than since Brock Purdy's been starting, ever since Brock Purdy's been starting, we've scored over 30 points every game except for that Seahawks game in the regular season. So the fact that we've been scoring so many points and Dallas just came off a hot game, we're wondering like, what's up with the 46 points? Like that doesn't sound right. I give kudos to everybody in this chat because we're all like, it's probably gonna go under because it just doesn't seem right. Like that spread just was fishy to me. And sure enough, that's what happened. I mean, it was a slow first half, but we got the job done. It's funny because like I was watching the game with like in a house with half. No, I wouldn't even say half. I would say 70-30 with Cowboys and 49ers fans, which 30 being on the 49ers side, mainly Cowboys. And it's always good to give Dallas Cowboys the business. I love it.
Yeah.
The fact that we had all these Cowboys fans in the house and they were getting quiet, but I mean it was real peaceful. Like there wasn't a lot of trash talking. It was a pretty clean game. I'll give the referee crew their flowers because they were, everybody was kind of worried, like Vinovich and his ways and how he officiates the 49ers and the way he's officiated certain playoff games. Like I felt like it was a pretty clean game. You know what I mean? I felt like it was pretty fair. I mean, there was a couple things that I saw, but at the same time, you can't catch every single thing. But I feel like for the most part, like nobody can sit there and be like, "Oh, we lost because of the officiating," or "We won because of officiating."
I mean, there's a couple things they didn't call in the 49ers too, like a tripping that was blatant right there in front of everybody. that didn't get called. So it goes both ways.
Exactly. So it went both ways. Yeah, it went both ways. But yeah, I love that we played a lot of glad that we played real physical, real clean, except for that fumble by Ray.
Don't get into it too much.
But other than that, that's pretty much it. Like, it was a good game, and of course I'm glad I got that W. It's another year of bragging rights. I love that I can sit there and say, I don't care how good you guys do all season, but when you meet the Niners in the playoffs, you're gonna get that work. So yeah.
49ers Drive had said it's weird, not feeling confident or nervous, just kind of in the middle. Should be another dog fight. 1 or 2 big plays will probably decide the game. I'm taking the under. Let's see what else they said real quick. Then we're going to get into the award nominations before we get into the rest of the game. Let me see if I missed anything. Oh, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, Frank Gore's not on the team anymore, so.
Yeah.
Well, it says Ty asked for 38. He can have it. That was my first ever back-to-back win. I don't think maybe I missed anything. Tony, hey, Tony. I see you. Brandon, what's up, B? David, good to see you. David changed his picture. Looking good, David. David Villa in the house, too. All the Davids. Stevo Supremo.
A couple of them.
Is giving his score prediction already, but I'm not writing it down yet. So if you're still here when I get them, then you can get it. All right, so let's get into, they released the nominees for the NFL honors today, the finalists. So let's go over them real quick.
Okay.
Get your thoughts. Chat, we'll get your thoughts too. Who you think is going to win each one. Let's start with Comeback Player of the Year, which was a surprise. I wasn't expecting CMC to be a finalist for this, but so that's pretty cool. So Comeback Player of the Year, the finalists are Saquon Barkley, running back with the Giants, Christian McCaffrey, and Geno Smith, obviously quarterback with the Seahawks. What are your thoughts? Who do you think is taking home that one?
If I had a vote, it would go to Saquon Barkley. I don't get this comeback player of the year stuff when a player has been healthy. Like Geno Smith was healthy last year.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been out of the league for like 10 years, so.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Yeah, here's my thing. Like, just because you had a bad season, as far as like if you're healthy and you had a bad season, you shouldn't qualify. Like you sucked. That's the situation.
It's not just a health award though, is the thing. It don't say comeback player from health award.
Yeah, no.
It's just comeback.
Yeah, I know.
Comeback from anything.
Yeah, I know. So you didn't exactly. You didn't come back from nothing. You were on somebody's bench. So to me, I don't think you came back from anything. You were on the team all year healthy. Saquon Barkley has a case to me because that man's been hurt for the last 2 years. He hasn't been doing his thing. Hasn't played a full season. I don't know since maybe his rookie year. And the fact that he came out and balled and and helped this team get to a playoffs, I would give it to Saquon Barkley if I had a vote. Like Geno Smith, I'm not knocking what he did. He had a heck of a year. Like he surprised me. I mean, who knew he was going to be the best quarterback, the best consistent quarterback on a 16-game season? You know what I mean? Or 17-game season. Like that, he did his thing. But to me, like I said, it's not like I don't know. To me, you have to have an injury. And I know that's not the NFL's rules, but I'm saying as for me personally, just because you're on somebody's bench and you didn't play, you didn't come back from anything. Saquon Barkley was actually hurt. CMC was hurt, and then they came back and they balled. So my vote will go to Saquon. Hey, what's up, Tony?
What's up, Tony? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you? How's everything?
Good. Good to see you. How you been?
Here. Hanging in there. Just getting ready for this weekend. It's gonna be tough, but I think there's some good things I think come out of this if they do what they need to do.
Yeah.
So what are you guys talking about besides the comeback player of the year?
Well, that's what we just started.
We'll put a pause on that, and let's go ahead and get your thoughts on, both of you guys, your thoughts on the win over the Cowboys, and we'll put a bow on the Cowboys, and then we'll get into this Philly game.
Go ahead, too.
I kind of already said my piece about the Cowboys. I'm just like I said, it's always a great thing. We talked on our last show, and Miriah had asked who do I hate more, and she asked the chat, who do you hate more, the Cowboys or the Seahawks? To me, it's Dallas, and it ain't close. You know what I mean? I've hated Dallas for a long time. Like I said, I even mentioned this guy's name, Rick Gallegos, was the only one in junior high who ever even talked about Dallas Cowboys. He was always like Cowboys. And then when they won that Super Bowl in '92, the first when they went on that run, when they won 3 out of 4, they came out the woodworks. Oh, Emmitt Smith this, Michael Irvin this. I'm like, you can't even name me 5 players on the team. So don't give me this nonsense that you're a fan. So, I can't stand Dallas. So every time that we can get a victory on them is awesome, especially in the playoffs. I had tweeted before the game, I was like, there's no way that this 49ers team is going to let the Cowboys get their 6th ring before us. And I hope that stands true. You know what I mean? I hope we get that number 6. But yeah, like I was telling Miriah, and before you came on, I was like, I feel like, everybody's, the whole time people were worried about the officiating. Vinovich is going to do this and put his hands in the pot. I felt like it was a pretty clean game. I want to hear your thoughts on that too. I felt like, whoever lost couldn't complain about the officiating. It couldn't be like, well, it was a bad call here, bad call there. Like, no, it was pretty clean in my book. So yeah, I'm just glad that, we played the better game. We had the turnover with Ray McLeod, and that was our only turnover, and they had 2. So, we won the turnover battle, and I said we're going to win by a touchdown, and we did. And we all on this chat said we're going to take the under because, we looked at the 46 points, and we were all puzzled, like 46 points. They're only thinking we're only going to score 23 apiece. And I said, you know what? Because the Niners been scoring so much, and Dallas just came off a good game scoring over 30 points. I feel like defense is going to come to play and it's going to go under, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, I'm very happy, and 2 more. All we need is 2 more wins, and then we can host that Lombardi. So, yeah. What you got, Tony?
As far as the Bill Vinovich thing, I am not a fan of his. I never was. No. I have PTSD from the Super Bowl with him. He's just one of those guys where, he's hit or miss. And this week, I'm going to give him credit. He let them play, and he was fair. But in the beginning, I was like, here we go. Like when they ran into the punter, they didn't call it. And the late hit out of bounds? Oh, what was it? There was another one. I mean, Bosa got held all game. They didn't call that. It's just the repetitive things with the Niners, and when they play these teams with the officials, Bosa has still yet to get the respect. But but I mean, I think it was pretty fair. He didn't control the outcome of the game, if you will. But the whole thing with Vegas not wanting the 49ers, and then like 15 minutes later, the league announcing Bill Vinovich was assigned to that game. I was just like, bro, here we go. It's all over again. But listen, Dallas Cowboys have a good team. It just shows that they're not well coached, in my opinion. Very sloppy, left tons of opportunities on the field, in my opinion, that I saw from a 49er fan. But, you got – not you, but people have to give credit to Kyle Shanahan because what he's doing with this team is amazing. It's not saying that we're not a talented team, but he just has this thing that, and he built such a strong culture in that locker room and such a team, I got your back thing and stuff like that. And you see it on the field, and it's very positive. We beat Dallas. We came out pretty healthy, minus a tight calf with McCaffrey and an ankle with I think Debo. But other than that, we're pretty good. And now we're on to Philadelphia. And listen, Philadelphia's a tough team. All right, I'm going to tell you this, but I will tell you this: that Giants game did no justice for them. I watched that Giant game. The Giants, the creativity from the offensive side of the ball, zero. They broke the huddle, they lined up 4 wide, play in and play out, and they just ran routes. And Philadelphia is going to have to – Kyle's going to test the discipline of Philadelphia's defense. It's going to come quick because, you guys know with the pre-snap motions and all that stuff, those things are done for a reason to find an opening in the defense. Now, I'm not a DVOA guy. I'm not a PFF guy. I'm a guy who sits there and watches the game, and I tell you what I see. I can tell you this. The 49ers can have success on offense versus defense, especially with a Kyle Shanahan as a play caller with his philosophy. The number one thing is going to be the run game. He's going to run them. He's going to run it at him. He's going to slow down their pass rush, and then he's going to hit with play action. And if you're asking me where the weaknesses of that defense,
it's
not their defense, the middle of the field.
Yep.
Okay. Corner 1, corner 2, they're good. Corner 1 is better than corner 2. I think corner 2 is a product of the system and the defensive line as well. But corner 1, corner 2, and now it's going to come down to corner 3, cover 4, cover 5. Who's covering the 49ers 3, 4, 5, and 6 options?
Exactly.
That's where the wiggle room is going to be. McCaffrey on the linebacker. Because remember, the personnel that we have in 21 personnel could take advantage and go 4 wide on you real quick. And teams have to show that they can stop that. You know what I'm saying? They have to show that they can defend that in their base personnel. And that's where I think Kyle could have the upper hand versus Philly. Experience as well. I'm not too familiar with their defensive coordinator, but I know he's getting interviewed. Gannon, I think his name is.
Gannon, yeah.
He's getting interviewed for head coaching jobs. That's great. But I'm going to tell you this. This is going to be his make or break this weekend because he will be tested. And it's going to need to be more than his front four that's going to beat the 49ers because now you're getting into the X and O side of the game. And now you're going to see what he's truly about. But, listen, it's going to be a great game. It's not going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be mid-scoring. I don't think it's going to be high. I don't think it's going to be low. I think it's going to be that middle tier. I actually looked into tickets to go, and I refused to pay $1,600 for an NFC Championship game. So
yeah, that's ridiculous.
I'm just going to watch it at home.
Yeah, they said the standing room only was like $800. Like,
Yeah.
screw that. That's just to get in there and stand around. Yeah, I'm not feeling that. Before we move on, I want to say this too because I had tweeted it, after the game. I want to wish Tony Pollard, a speedy recovery. I hate to see the injuries and stuff like that, but karma is real. it's crazy to me how this dude on the radio for Dallas Cowboys radio was sitting there talking about, oh, what we need is a CMC hamstring injury. And then what happens is his running back goes out with the injury that was way more severe than what he was wishing on Christian McCaffrey. So, that's disgusting. I'm glad that I haven't heard anything like that from the Philly fans saying, oh, I wish, Deebo Samuel would get hurt or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm glad that, even though us as fans, like we sit here as amongst ourselves and we fight and we sometimes say some crazy stuff, but I've never heard a 49ers fan wish bad on another player for injury. Like,
No.
we have enough class to sit there and be like, I wish it's a good game. Yeah, I can't stand you guys, but we never wish an injury on somebody. So kudos to all the 49er fans who stay classy and don't wish stuff like that. And the fact that this dude gets hurt is crazy to me. And like I said, karma is real, man.
No, it definitely is. You're 100% right. And it's funny. It's funny you brought that up because when I heard him say that, I was like, damn, is this guy serious right now? Like, this is what he just said. Like, and he, from my understanding, I didn't hear this part of it, but he doubled down on it and said, yeah, I hope he gets hurt. That's not cool, dude. I'm sorry.
No.
And the karma end of it, but, it's not a good situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it sucks too because Tony Pollard, he's had a great year. Like, he was gonna get the bag this off season. And he still probably will. If not, he'll get franchise tagged by Dallas, which I think, is for top 5 salary or running backs. It'll be like 14, 15 million or something like that, like something crazy. But yeah, so what's up, little man? So yeah, so it's But yeah, man. So that's all I wanted to say about Tony Pollard. Like, that sucked that happened, but don't wish injuries on other people's teams, man. That's super classless. So
yeah,
go ahead, Miriah.
and it sucks for the Cowboys too because Zeke, man, to have to take over running back duties, he's a complete shell of himself. Like, and then the Cowboys do him dirty. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. What was worse, the way this game ended, so the last play of this game, or the last play of the 49er Cowboy game last year?
Last year by far.
You think so? Because I've never seen a team line up and shit whatever they were trying to do that they did this year. Because to set up Zeke to get completely pounded for no freaking reason, it was just a weird, like, what were they expecting to happen with that play? Because I couldn't see any, like, and then Dak just throws it right there. Like, what are you expecting that guy to do? Like, that, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
And that falls under coaching, and I don't understand why you would do something like that. I mean, what do? You put your biggest lineman all the way flanked out to your right and your left, put your running back in the middle to snap you the ball. What do you think is going to happen? You think a running back can hold up to a defensive end on a bull rush? Like, come on, after snapping the ball? Like, come on. But zero creativity. Dallas just seems like an undisciplined team. They always have, and in my opinion, I think they always will be. I mean, since Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson had the reins on that team.
Yes, he did.
He had full control. It was Jimmy, and that's it. Jimmy's way, and that's it. But then Barry Switzer came in. They lost control with him.
Terrible.
And then, like, Jason Garrett was like the puppet from Jerry upstairs like this from the balcony. So, it's sad because they are a talented team. Micah Parsons is a really good player, but, what Kyle did, and he does it versus the Rams, and he did it versus the Raiders, he has the ability to scheme out their best player, to use his aggression against him and take him out of the play. He's done it. It's week in and week out when there's one single player. So this week's going to be a little tough because now there's not just one. There's 4 good down linemen.
Yes.
So, listen, Kyle's going to have to dig deep, but I think he's got a good game plan. But I said it from time in and time out since they went on this stretch. The only team that could beat the Niners is the Niners themselves. So if they start doing those Dre Greenlaw things, hits out of bounds and holding calls, false starts, all that, that's when we run into trouble. And the turnovers, too.
Yeah. Real quick, let me say what's up to a couple people. NY to the Bay, what's up? Terradome, good to see you. Peachy in the house, good to see you. Alberto says, first time dropping into your channel. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Appreciate it, Alberto. Hopefully it won't be your last time. Tony Montana, I see you. Let's make it through here. And then for those that aren't paying attention to chat, we did start a giveaway, so get your numbers in the chat. It started with Melissa. So if you scroll up and find when she posted the number, that's when it starts. Let me just make sure we didn't see anybody else in here. Let's go through real quick. That looks like everybody. Hopefully I got everybody. Tony, I want to get your thoughts on something real quick, and then we'll wrap up Dallas. The play with Eric Armstead, where he could have gotten a safety and he pulls up. Some say it's because he was scared to get a penalty. Shanahan talked about it a little bit and said that Eric said he was kind of caught in between, that he was going to go hit him, and then he thought Dak was going to throw at the last minute, so he tried to pull up and chase. I don't know. He's explained it in some weird way. What are your whole thoughts on that entire play, on that entire situation, and kind of the situation that like defense is stuck in, you know, with the way that they call penalties, especially when it comes to hitting the quarterback?
Yeah, I definitely think Eric Armstead pulled up on that play. I mean, if I recall correctly, he gave him a good pump fake, like a legit, like he tricked me. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Don't hit him, don't hit him." Then all of a sudden, I see Eric just push him, and then he steps up and he still has the ball in his hand. I'm like, "Holy shit!" So it was definitely a good pump fake by Dak, and if you want to say disciplined by Eric, because if he would have threw that ball and let it go, and Eric would have hit him, that would have been a big problem. But yeah, I definitely think he got fooled. He pretty much admitted it. You know, he fell for it, and that's it. But as far as the defensive line, you know, I kind of get the sense, especially from Bosa, he rushes scared. Like he's afraid to lay into these quarterbacks. Because I don't remember what game it was. Was it Seattle where they had the pick six and they called it back because the way Bosa landed on him?
Oh,
Geno Smith, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was Lenore. He had the pick six. He jumped the route. He ran into the end zone. And then if you watch the replay, Bosa hit him. It was a clean hit. Didn't leave with his head. But what happened was I think it was Ebukam pushed the defender back. And when Bosa hit him, you see his head whip forward on the offensive lineman's back, his butt from getting pushed back into him. And they called the flag on it. And so then the next play, Bosa landed on him. He was like this, like with his hands up, like not me, not me.
yeah.
So the NFL needs to do something with the league and the officiating, and they need to become more consistent. They have to, in my opinion, factors. Anytime you see the crown of the head hit the helmet, it's a flag. No, you see that, and you see the helmet go like this with the crown or the face mask, it should be a flag. As far as making a football move or a defensive end, like, I mean, how are you supposed to push these guys? You can't put them down from behind because that's horse collaring. You can't like roll into their legs because that's illegal for their knees. So what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. I don't know, Tony. It's crazy. Like the officiating has gotten so unpredictable, and the NFL's gotten so soft. Like it takes away from these players playing their own game. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what to do. Like I've seen that in numerous games. Like, you know, and I watched the playoff game between Dallas and Tampa the week prior, and they called a roughing the passer on Tom Brady, and the hit was as clean as it can be. Like just because the guy he landed on him, so it's like, what do you want these guys to do? So yeah, I agree with you. I think Eric Armstead kind of held back a little bit because he probably thought the ball was going to be thrown, and he was scared that if he hit Dak Prescott, it was going to be a 15-yard penalty for roughing the passer. So it sucks, man. Look, but you're right. I think there should just be certain things where they say, okay, this is a flag no matter what. This is clean no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it sucks for these players, man. Like I can't even imagine, you know, you're running full speed. And to me, you played football. When you half step in football, that's when you get hurt. when you're not going your full speed. You pull up and you got all of a sudden you got a hamstring or a cramp, whatever the case may be. I feel like when you do that kind of stuff, it hurts you even more than you going full speed. So I couldn't imagine going full speed and getting ready to tackle a running back, and I'm like, or a quarterback, I'm like, oh crap, like, can I hit him? Is it okay? And it's such a bang play. These guys are so fast too, so it's like you have to make up your mind quick of what you want to do when it comes to hitting these players. So it's crazy, man.
It's like a bang play. Like you have a split second to make whether to commit yourself and launch or like pull yourself up and just try to bring them down their way, like, or the safe way. So it's tough.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, my King, I see you. So Melissa says, Tony, who you think is shutting down the secondary, Bradbury and Slay, because they're interception turnover monsters? Let's kind of talk about, the matchup between, our offense and their defense, because we know their defensive line led the league in sacks by a huge margin. And, I think they tied with like the Bears in 1980, whatever, like with the most sacks ever. So, and then we know, they have a pretty good back end as well. I think their weakest would be their linebacking core. So let's kind of talk about the matchup. I went into this game thinking that we should be running that ball. Time of possession is going to be very key. The longer that we can keep their offense off the field, right, is going to be the best thing possible. Mm-hmm. So that would be, run that ball, like don't go away from the run, 35 plus runs, run that ball down their freaking throats, But let's kind of talk about the matchup, where you think, we can, go well, what's looking bad, get into that a little.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yeah. So to me, Bradbury, I feel like it's probably going to be taking on Ayuk. And Ayuk, that dude is the man. To me, he's a top 3 route runner in football. Dude's routes are filthy. You know what I mean? So I feel like he can get open on every play, and I think Slay is the better corner, so he'll probably be matching up with Debo. But I think Tony kind of hit the nail on the head earlier, because I feel like against Dallas, our run game was kind of stagnant at first too. Like we weren't really doing what we needed to do. But then when they started putting Christian McCaffrey on the line of scrimmage, putting him in the slot, stuff like that, and taking advantage of his skill set, I think we can do that in the same way we did with with him against the Eagles, with him and George Kittle, because those linebackers ain't gonna be able to cover neither one of them. So I think Tony brought up the first and second option. So like Slay and Bradbury, they're good corners. But then if you want to match up, okay, so even let's just say that Bradbury and Slay do a good job of taking away Debo and Ayuk all game. Now you got third and fourth options, if you want to put it that way, with McCaffrey and Kittle, let's just say, come off the line of scrimmage. I'm taking them on a linebacker all day. So I feel like that's what Kyle's going to do to probably help us get some offense rolling and stuff like that. I think it's going to be a physical game. I think it might be a slow start, kind of like how it was with Dallas, because both defenses are going to come in hungry. And then I felt like come third quarter is when the Niners started clicking a little bit on our offense. So I kind of see something similar here, but I feel like we need to get a little bit more pressure. Like I feel like, those 2 good blitzes by D'Amico Ryans with Hufanga, 2 good ones. One, he got there just a little bit too late. And then the second one, he actually had a hold of Dak, but he couldn't get him down. You know what I mean? I feel like if he does something like that, and even if you want to switch it up a little bit, instead of using Hufanga, maybe you use somebody like Azeez Al-Shaair to blitz or something like that. Use somebody else to kind of throw off the offense. But yeah, I really feel like the attacking them linebackers is going to be how we're going to be successful in beating this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the number one thing about like the 49ers is the whole positionless football thing, right? When we traded for McCaffrey, we were actually live on Nothing But Niners, and I was kind of like from the no, what the hell did they just do? And I specified several times, it's not the player I'm saying no to. I'm saying the compensation, and I'm saying the price tag that comes along with it. So with us not having the first round picks for 3 years, 2 years, I was kind of concerned about what did they just do. But it turned out it was a very friendly deal. It was a fair deal. They didn't give up much past this year. And the crazy thing is they're still probably going to have 11 draft picks this year. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So ever since they brought this kid in, it fully gave Kyle the advantage, right? And I said on the show, I'm like, Mike, I said, you're going to see instances when you're going to see Debo lined up in the backfield and McCaffrey as a wide receiver because he has the ability to play that, right? Because he did it at Stanford. You know what he's made of. You know his skill set, his strengths. You got it, bud? Yeah, I'm sorry. So now Kyle has the full versatility. He can put Debo in the backfield. He can put freaking McCaffrey as a wide receiver. He can line up Ayuk in the slot and put Jennings as the opposite wide receiver wide. So now you just threw a curveball to the defense. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and bash the Eagles, but I looked at their schedule the other day. Listen, it is what it is. The NFL made the schedule for them, but there's a stretch of teams where you're just like, you wonder why they went on that 11-1 stretch. But, I mean, it is what it is. They are a good team. I'm not taking credit where it's due, but I think this is probably out of the 17 games they played. And everyone says, who do the 49ers play? Well, guess what? Who have the Eagles defensive play as far as a versatile offensive scheme, I would say, or personnel groupings? What? So it's kind of like they've never seen an offense like this where you can move all these parts and still be just as deadly, right? I mean, Saquon Barkley, hell of a running back. He's explosive. He catches the ball. He's good. But other than Saquon Barkley, who did the Giants have? Right? There's no other pieces. And personnel groupings were very basic. You had your forward wide receivers and you had your running back, or you had 3 wide receivers, and then you had a tight end. And there was no versatility. There's no moving. There's no nothing. It was just, okay, break, 4 wide, post, shallow cross, whatever. And that was it. So now what's going to happen is these corners are going to have to make adjustments. These wide receivers are going to be moving pre and post snap. A, to tell whether you're in man or in zone, and B, where the opening in that zone is going to be. Where do you see the corner stop, and where do you see the next man pick him up and continue with him? That's where you're going to find the openings in this defense. So I just feel like as far as when the Niners have the ball, I think they are going to round it. Run it. I agree with you guys, but I also think Kyle's going to he's going to run, and set up a shot. Run, set up a shot. Run, play action pass, run, set up a shot. He's going to keep this team off balance. So, what is your best defense? It's an offense that can control the time of possession and keep that defense on the field. So now when your offense is resting, right, your defense comes on the field, and now the defense got to get 3 and out to put the offense. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like one hand washes the other, but I do think Kyle's going to come with something creative. And I just want to say this. In my opinion, if you're looking at the 49ers offense, I think it's probably the most talented offense and probably the most toughest offense to defend because of the versatility at the skill set positions. And yes, I'm going to say it with the Eagles offense. But the key to this game is if they can't control the line of scrimmage offensive and defensively, they're going to have a tough time. And if they don't rush discipline, and now this is the flip side that concerns me, right? The defensive line has been struggling a little bit. And I'm a type of guy where I think I pinpoint what the issue was. But ever since Kinlaw's come back, I feel like this defensive line, as far as versus the run and the pass rush, it's not what it was. Like, this defensive line is to fly off the ball, get in the backfield, and cause havoc. Now, I don't know if Kinlaw's 100%. I hope he is. I hope his leg's coming back and he's getting his legs back under him. But they need to generate a pass rush, and they need to generate a pass rush while rushing discipline. Now, what I mean by that is when you stunt and you're not hitting your stunt lane and your stunt responsibility, an opening comes in the defense. So guess what that means? That's where Hurts could hurt us. But, we'll see. I hope Amenhu could play what just happened with him yesterday. And if he doesn't, I want to see Teran come up. I want to see them get these guys rushing and just do a rotation and get fresh legs on the field because I think they're really going to need it this game. They're going to need a second person to step up and help Bosa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really hope, the favorable matchup, I think, could be Armstead inside. That's what I like.
Yeah. Do you guys know Drake Jackson's supposed to be playing this Sunday?
I hope so. I mean, I can't see. I mean, I know what it is. Like, it's position, again, versatile in the position, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody could play inside and out in that defensive line.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Drake Jackson's the one guy that cannot play inside. So he's strictly an outside. So that's why he's been sitting, because they want to do keep the rotation inside, outside.
Yeah.
I hope they dress him this game because I think, honestly, in my personal opinion, I think they're going to need as many fresh legs as they can get.
I agree.
To beat this team.
Real quick, congrats, Tanya. This is what we're giving away.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana Super Bowl. So congrats to you. Yeah, that's it. That's all I had.
Yeah.
When the news first came out about Amenhu, before we found out from Shanahan that they're planning on playing him still, I was thinking, that meant, okay, Drake Jackson should be active, and I was thinking we could use his speed, and those hands, he seems to be the only defensive lineman that we have that knows how to get his hands up and bat passes down. Like, I don't know why the other ones seem to not be able to do that, but, I think that we could really use him for this game. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Do you guys think, if he is active, would you guys like to see some of that NASCAR package stuff, or with Drake on the outside with Bosa, and maybe slight Ebo come inside with Eric Armstead? Do you think that would work?
Yeah, I would like to see it. I mean, again, you want to give different looks, but again, they have to be disciplined. They cannot rush undisciplined because this guy will make him pay.
Yeah, he will.
Shit, I would like to even see, honestly, in this type of game, I would go Armstead, Bosa inside.
Okay.
And I would go Ibukam or Jackson or Teran outside and just rotate those guys. Because, when you're in a third and long situation, you want your speed. You want your guys blowing off the line and trying to get penetration and force this guy to make a bad throw.
Yeah.
What's up, Kelts? Kelts said, "What's up, faithful fam? I believe we are winning the Super Bowl. Regardless, what a ride it's been. I hope everyone is staying blessed." Yee. I talked about this a little bit on John V's show yesterday. I never thought when, the beginning of the season with the start that we had, there were some instant reaction shows and even some shows we're talking about, are we going to need to start trading like our stars? Do we need to freaking wrap this shit up? Does this team not, we were so confused why we had all this talent and this team was looking like complete crap out there. I never thought, when that all happened, and then we lose our first quarterback, we lose our second quarterback. When Jimmy went down, I thought for sure, okay, that's it. This season's done. We're having the last pick of the draft, this rookie quarterback that, all these teams passed over numerous times, he's supposed to come in and lead us to a Super Bowl. Yeah, right. And then now we're sitting in the spot that we are, coming off this longest win streak in the NFL. And man, it's just been a crazy season. I just never thought we would be in this spot after the start of the season and everything this team has been through. And, the team talks a lot about the I got your back. And, that seems to be huge from the top down to the practice squad players, right? Everybody seems to believe that. And you just really feel it, when you watch the videos, when you watch the mic'd up, when you watch, different things that come out of the organization, and you can just really feel that this team has like a genuine love for each other. And it's just really cool to see, them go through all the adversity and get to where, playing in the NFC Championship game again.
Yeah.
So I agree, Kilts. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you. Tony, don't be checking the mail because no giveaways have gone out. I don't just mail it out as soon as you win something. There's like tons of giveaways every week that come in. So like it takes time. So trust me, you'll know when it goes out, and it ain't close to going out yet. But yeah, let's talk. So we talked a little bit about, our offense matching up against their defense. And it seems like the national media, everything that's been said this week is about how Dallas lost the game. Dallas lost to the 49ers. Nothing about the 49ers beating Dallas, right? Like, still the 49ers get no freaking credit for anything. It's that, the 49ers went out there and the offense couldn't put up points against Dallas, and Dallas made all these mistakes and lost the game, beat themselves. And now, a lot of them are giving the 49ers no chance, to go into Philly and win this game. It's about how good the Philly offense is, how good the Philly defense is. And it's like, I just sit there and think, like, have you guys not seen the 49ers? Because this team's pretty damn good themselves. It's not like some scrub teams coming in there that shouldn't be in this spot. Like, we were right under the Eagles, the number 2 team, like, for a reason. It's not like, this is the freaking 6th seed coming in and, going to be outplayed in this game. Like, I don't see that happening whatsoever. So, let's talk about, like the matchup on the other side, because we know that they have some pretty crazy weapons. They had 2 wide receivers on the team that with over 1,000 yards this season. And then obviously we know what Hurts, can do, like his abilities to run, and now how that opens up the run game. Let's talk about like our matchup. Is our defense, do we see them being able to stop this, or do you see that this is going to be a shootout? Do you see Charvarius Ward and being able to hold up against that, the back end, him and Lenore? Do you see them being able to guard these wide receivers, or do you think that we're in for a long day?
Go ahead, Tony. How'd you go first this time?
All right. Listen, Charvarius Ward, I think he's a great corner, but I will tell you this: he has been struggling somewhat lately. I don't know what it is. It's nothing like, the type of struggles where it's like, oh, we are definitely not winning this. I think it's more of D'Amico and how he's calling the defense to, defend these teams. I noticed something last week where they implemented a little bit of a cover 2. And I haven't seen D'Amico Ryans run a cover 2 look. So that's going to be interesting to see what they do this week if they implement the cover 2 with this team, because I think our corners could do well. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this very lightly, because last year we went in there and we beat them, right? Same quarterback, same line, same weapons, minus 1 guy, A.J. Brown. Actually, better tight ends because they had Goder and they had the kid that went to Zach Ertz. So they had 2 really good tight ends. They gave up a 90-something yard pass.
Quez Watkins. Yep.
They didn't score 1 point off of it. And that's even with a first down for a pass interference call. So the defense had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offense had 7 opportunities to get in the end zone. They didn't give up a point. Now, where my concern is the safeties this year compared to the safeties last year. The safeties this year, instinctive, gamblers. They will go for the ball. They're bullhawks. Talanoa could blitz. But the one downside before the 2 of those guys is the recovery speed. So I think the reason why he's going to that cover 2 is to keep those 2 guys deep and not let anything up behind them. Like, don't give up you're the last line of defense. Nothing gets behind you. So I think that could be interesting. I saw him go cover 4. I saw him go cover 3. And I saw him go cover 0. So cover 0 is basically man. You're man up on somebody. That's it. Cover 2, cover 3, cover 4 are all zones. So if the pass rush can't generate pressure, but they can contain him, I still think the Niners could do okay. If the Niners pass rush gets home and they can contain him, Philly's going to have a long day. If the pass rush gets home, but they don't contain him, the 49ers are going to have a long day.
Yep.
Now, all these teams that they faced in the recent games, none of these teams have the speed at the second level like we have. Right? You have two bona fide safeties playing linebacker, like bigger size safeties that could run like the wind like a safety. And implementing, well, like we saw it last week, when they did that zone blitz and they dropped Fred Warner to go all the way downfield, 20 yards downfield, and pick up CeeDee Lamb in almost like a man or a zone concept, but man, it was his man in that zone, so he locked up with him, and he covered him like that. You're not going to – the Philly hasn't seen that. So that's going to be an adjustment on their end. But my thing is this. If they could stop the run using their front four without having to do run blitzes, and if they could generate pressure with their front four without having to blitz, I mean, consistently, you could throw one in every now and then. I don't care. If they could play that style of football and he could change and he could mirror he could change the schemes in the back end, show this pre-snap, post-snap, it shifts to this, I think he can get this team. I really do. Because they haven't seen the creativity of DeMeco Ryans before. And the skill set on our defense. The matchups I'm watching is, I forgot the guard's name. Not Dickerson, the other guard.
Mailata.
Yeah, and then the right tackle. The big guy, the big
Talking about the 6'8" dude,
big Polynesian dude.
Yeah, I think that's Mailata, Jordan Mailata.
And then Salamoto or something. Salamoto is the guard. That's where I think the Niners could win. The tackle's a big dude, but I don't think he has the feet to get Bosa. I think Bosa is a technician who could beat him with his hands, get around him. So I think that's where I'm going to be watching. But if they play it safe and they play smart, I think the 49ers could – I'm not saying fully stop. I think they could slow this down. And I think their goal is to try to make him beat them with his arm. So I think they're going to try to contain him and keep him in that pocket and let him move around a little bit, but not break the pocket. That's where, I mean, like if he goes, then there's problems. And the Niners have a history of having trouble defending or running quarterbacks. So, but I just think this defense is playing so well right now. And it's funny, right? Because the offense carried the defense. And now guess what? The defense is helping out the offense when they hit a little wall or face a good defense. So it's going to be interesting. I do think it could happen. But it's going to be very interesting to see how he defends this group. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Oh, the Philly fans are here. Yo,
I saw that. Do you want to add anything before I go, Miriah? Or?
No, go ahead.
So I want to go back to what you were saying about the national media. Them saying like, oh, the 49ers ain't got a chance. This and that. And from all the, I haven't really heard too many, but I've been, going to YouTube and listening to a couple podcasts from Philly and stuff like that. And I think the reason why the national media and other fan bases and stuff are going against us because they feel like at some point Purdy's going to look like Mr. Irrelevant. They're looking at it as like, well, he's a rookie. At some point, he's going to start making mistakes and stuff like that. And and I know he got away with a couple interceptions last game, but still, it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So I think that's why everybody's against it. That's all I keep saying. Like, well, Purdy's this and Purdy's that. Like, he hasn't seen this kind of defense. I'm like, well, what are you guys talking about? We just played a tough Dallas defense last week, and he didn't have any turnovers. You know what I mean? Like, he made the plays he needed to make for us to win this game. So, I'm gonna agree with you, Tony, and 49er throwback kind of said the same thing, and I think it was Troy. They were saying that, like, if we make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable, it's over. You know what I mean? But the pass rush hasn't been getting home at like we like. Hasn't been getting home like for our liking. So I think that's why D'Amico been sending some blitzes here and there just to kind of get them out of their comfort zone a little bit. I'm just, and I think Philly. I think they're gonna look at the film, and I think honestly they're gonna go back and look at that Raiders game. I think because they're gonna see what Jarrett Stidham did as far as keeping plays. Like, yeah, he didn't run a ton against us, but he ran enough to keep the plays going. And Jalen Hurts is far more athletic than that dude. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you're right, Tony. If it's anything like that against the Raiders, like we played against the Raiders, where they were kind of having us uncomfortable on defense, because I feel like, and I know we have more tape on Jalen Hurts, but when you look at what Jarrett Stidham did, I was kind of shocked. Like, our defense didn't play up to par. And I think if they come at us with a game plan like that, we could be in trouble if he's extending plays with his legs. Like, I don't expect him to rush for like 120 yards, something like that. But if he can if we get him in like third and short, every other play, and all of a sudden he's running 4 or 5 yards and getting first down, it could be a long day for us. But like you said, I think with D'Amico, I think he's one of the best in the game at making adjustments. You know what I mean? Like, if something ain't working, he'll sit there and say, okay, well, let me do this, let me do that. So I expect a couple more blitzes. Like we all said, we don't know what's going to happen with Charles Omenihu. Hopefully, he can play if everything goes right. But yeah, the pass rush need to get home. I think the matchup I'm worried about, or I guess a position I'm worried about, I would say Dallas Goedert. He's been pretty good. He's been playing very well. I felt like it was laughable that people were saying he was the best tight end left in the playoffs, which was crazy to me. But I'm like, did you forget that Kelsey and Kittle were both playing? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's funny. But Dallas Goedert, if we don't get there, he can be a problem. And AJ Brown for sure. Like, I feel like he's gonna get his regardless. You look at, even though CeeDee Lamb didn't score a touchdown, he had 10 catches for 100 and something yards. So AJ Brown is going to do his thing, and I think you have to let everybody else beat you, because we can't. We saw when we had AJ Brown, and I know it's a different team. Like when we were playing the Titans at one, was it last year when AJ Brown was just giving us fits? However, we didn't have a Charvarius Ward. And You're right, Charvarius Ward has been struggling a bit, but I feel like it's a situation of the pass rush. But I like our chances for sure. Like I said, hopefully we bring some blitzes with like even Aziz or Dre Greenlaw, like change it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I love the Hufanga blitz because that dude like shoots as soon as the ball is snapped, he shoots like a missile. Like he has the timing. His 10-yard sprint is like amazing. Like, he gets there. So we can change up a little bit, or even Jimmy Ward. You want to blitz him a little bit because he's pretty good at it too. So I don't know, Tony. It's going to be an interesting game. The spread's has been pretty much sitting the same all week, where it's been like a -2.5, 3, then back to -2.5. So the betting's pretty equal right now. What's going on with these two teams?
And that's what I'm saying, right? Like, you're a Vegas guy. You watch the odds and stuff. If you're telling me this team is that potent, and they're the number 1 seed, and they're at home, that line should be a lot more than 2.5.
Yep.
I totally agree.
That 2.5 line tells me there's something going on with this. This team, like, I don't watch, and this week I don't watch ESPN or NFL Network. They literally wrote off the 49ers. They're 73% say Eagles are going to beat the Niners. Like, then why play the game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of it. I never was. So, like, Super Bowl week, championship week, I don't even watch it. I can't be bothered with, because it's annoying. Well, listen, this is why they play the game, because they're two freaking good teams, and it's going to be a battle. And, here's the big question. Who has more playoff experience, the Niners or the Eagles?
Yeah.
Think about it. Philly hasn't been in a big game like this. This regime. They haven't. But
yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy.
Real quick, mods. I'm all for the trash talk, whatever, but if shit gets disrespectful, block these people, get them the hell out of here. Like, we're not going to take these Philly fans coming in here disrespecting DeMar Hamlin and all this other shit. So you guys are moderators for a reason. I don't have to tell you what to do. You guys know better. If it's just smoke, if they're just talking crap, whatever, back and forth banter is fine. That's what being fans are all about. But we're not taking the disrespectful. So as soon as it gets disrespectful, get them the fuck out of here.
And you know what the funny thing is? You don't see Niner fans doing that.
No.
You don't see Niner fans going to Philly chats. Oh, you guys suck, blah, 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 blah. No, our team, the way the Niner fans are, our team's going to go out there and do what they do best and let them do the talking. And that's it. That's the way it is, man. I mean, this team's different. They're different than your regular NFL teams. I see a lot of traits of the 94 team and this team as far as like business trips, like flying out, handling business, getting on the plane, coming back home. I see it. I see a lot of it in this and with this team. I mean, granted, they've been home for a nice stretch, but
hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute, Tony. Get this Paul dude up out of here. You see what he put?
Why do you say that?
Yeah, they're all coming in here like talking shit about that. It's like
get that dude up out of here. Paul 00 T-Walk Sports.
Yeah, if any of these weirdos come in here, mention DeMar Hamlin, the first word you fucking see, get him out of here. Don't even put him in timeout. Just completely block him. We don't need him back.
What a shame.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Freaking weirdos.
People are nuts.
Let's dig it into the score predictions. What do you guys think? Chat, go ahead. Give me your score predictions too.
I'm not a score prediction guy. But I think if they do it, if they play their game, if the 49ers play their game and they play discipline, I think they could beat them. And I think they could beat them probably, I would say, maybe by a field goal.
That's why I love you, Tony. My mindset's the same way. I got them winning barely. I got them winning 23-21.
Yeah. Right around there. That's the way I see it, because I think like the 49ers transition into a second half team now, right? So they come out, they show their hand, they see what the team does, they make their adjustments at half. And another big thing, like I'm super superstitious about this shit. They have to kick the ball off to start the game. Because when they kick the ball off to start the game, that's falling right into Kyle's game plan, how he wants it. He wants to get that quick scoreboard before the half, come out in the second half, get another one in. That's the way he operates. And that's when this team's, believe it or not, superstitious me, that's when they do their best.
No, I'm right there with you, because when I came and turned the TV on Sunday, it was right when I seen the Cowboys kicking off to us to start the game. And I'm like, fuck, no. Like, it was the opposite. And I was pissed because I'm like, no, I wanted us to get the ball when that second half first.
I don't know what the hell I saw that game, but like we were on the live show with nothing but Niners, and I started screaming. I saw Robbie Gould setting up on the field. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, we go. We got it. And all of a sudden they panned to the field. They caught the background image because I guess the sideline reporter must have talked a couple minutes earlier, and they paused, like, they fell behind a little bit when they were interviewing. They just showed the background. And I said, holy shit, the friggin' Cowboys are kicking off. I just looked like an idiot. I just flipped the hell out. But, like, it's little things like that. Like, if they come out and play stupid, holding penalties, like, McGlinchey struggles, gives up sacks. And I got to ask you guys something before I go on. What is it with the rotation at the right guard spot? Could someone please?
Your guess is as good as mine, Tony.
Because I don't like it, and I honestly feel it bogs down the offense. Well, or should I say the pass protection?
Yeah, I don't like it. I agree with you, Tony. I don't like it either.
I think because they didn't have enough balls to tell Bumskill that he needs to sit his ass on the bench. And every time they talk about it, it's always like, well, this is what's his face's first season, and they wouldn't even be playing football right now if he was still in college. So we didn't want him to get tired from the long season. And it's like, well, sooner or later he's going to have to, right? It's like
exactly
every other player has to do it. Like, it's so weird. So I think they just don't have enough balls to tell Bum Skill that he didn't make the cut.
And another key thing, look for Kyle to keep the pocket moving. I don't think he's going to let Purdy just stand there in the pocket. I think he's going to move him. But we all know how Purdy is. He feels it and he rolls out. So I think Kyle's going to design a couple bootlegs off of play action, roll the pocket, have a shallow cross, have like a levels concept crossing the field. And, try to get that defensive line to not pin their ears back. If you could do that and keep them honest and not pin their ears back and play undisciplined and just go get them, that's like the Giants played right into Philly's hands, right? They got down by 2 scores. The Giants totally abandoned the run game, and they just started throwing. And they played right into the strength for what Philly wants to do defensively. And that's why you saw that type of game and the outcome of that game. So with that being said, look for Kyle, to keep them honest and test them. Test their principles. Test their discipline on the edges. See if they're going to set the edges. If they don't set the edge, run the jet sweep or a reverse or the outside zone. Let them defend the whole field. Because if you defend the whole field, you have to play discipline. Because if you defend the whole field, if you try to defend the whole field undisciplined, there's going to be shit open all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So do you guys see something similar to how the first half was with us against Dallas? Or do you see us coming out quicker on offense and then because I don't feel like it's going to be like a 9-6, halftime score.
No, I think Kyle's going to come out hot. I think Kyle's going to come out and totally freaking try to give him a mind. We call it in shooting at the range, you mess up their OODA loop. So that's what I think Kyle wants to do. Totally throw them a curveball and screw them and see how they respond.
That's good. That's what I like to see.
That's what I think. Because, listen to me, the favorable matchups is the 3, 4, and 5 wide receivers. And that's the 3, 4, and 5 wide receivers. Where do they usually work? The middle of the field.
Middle of the field, yeah.
So you're playing right into their weakness, which is a strength of the 49ers. Don't get me wrong. These are 2 great teams. They have 2 good defenses and 2 good offenses. But I think it's going to come down to coaching and execution. And that's why I'm teetering for the Niners over the Eagles, because I don't think they have the experience. And I just don't see – I mean, their offense is good. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't see, the way Kyle calls and operates an offense compared to the way Sirianni does it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it. They run the screens. They could run the run game. They could do the quick bubble passes, slants. They could run go routes. They could run shallow intermediate crossers. Yes. But it's kind of drop back, run your route, throw. There's no there's no deception.
Yeah. Yes, I know people were calling me last week because they know I live here in Vegas and they know I'm into sports betting and stuff. And everybody kept saying, who do you think's going to win? Everybody was worried about the Vinovich thing. And I was like, look, I go, if it's a clean game, I go, because I never thought it was going to be a blowout. I kept saying, the Niners going to win probably just by a touchdown. I go, it's not going to be no 2-score game. But I was just look, I go, when it comes down to it, you look at both sides of the ball, you look at the teams as a whole, all 3 phases, and I kept telling them, when it comes down to it, if you don't know who you think is going to win on the spread, take the money line and just take who's the better team. I go, the Niners are going to win because they're the better team. You know what I mean? Against Dallas. And that's how I feel about the Eagles right now. I go, the spread's kind of tricky. You got the 2 points. It's enticing to be man, the Niners will cover that because they're going to win. You know what I mean? But then you got the other side thinking, well, the Eagles are at home. They're probably going to at least win by a touchdown. So it's kind of even. I think when it comes down to it, it's going to be you got to pick okay, you look at all 3 phases. Who's the better team just in general? So I think when it comes down to it, I think that's why, I look at it and it's not a biased take. The Niners to me are just a better team. And I think that's why we get this victory on Sunday.
Now you're saying from a talent standpoint?
Yes. I think we're just better on all 3 phases. Like we got the better running back, the receivers. You can kind of, I mean, I think we're better at receiver. Like AJ Brown, to me, AJ Brown and Debo are pretty close. Like everybody loves to say like Debo. You know, like to me, Debo's always been the better weapon than AJ Brown as far as versatility. But AJ Brown to me is the better receiver. And I don't think that Devontae Smith is as good as Ayuk in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Not as polished, he's a lot faster than Ayuk.
Yeah, he is definitely faster. Yeah, and then we got the better tight end. You know what I mean? We got the better just overall defense because our defense every level we have elite players. Can't say that about the Eagles, and that's why I think what me, you, and Miriah were talking about. I think when it comes down to, we're all going to look at how we attack that linebackers. You know what I mean? That the middle of the field is going to be our bread and butter, I feel. And you made a great point. Like, you know, everybody knows you always have Debo and Ayuk off on the edges. Like you said, put Brandon Ayuk in the slot and throw their whole game off and be like, oh, now you're putting Juwan Jennings going to have to go out against Bradbury, or put him against Slay, who he has a huge size advantage on. You know what I mean? Huge, because Slay's a great corner, but Juwan Jennings is physical. So I feel like on a jump ball situation, I'm taking Juwan Jennings all day on that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just think that, like you said, we have the better team, we got the better coach, we got the more experienced coaching staff. You know what I mean? And you look at, even though Jalen Hurts has been in the league longer than Purdy, they got I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they got the same playoff starts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
because they had the bye week. Yes.
Yeah. So they have the same amount of playoff starts. So it's not really an advantage, except for, like I said, I just think when it comes down to it, we have to contain Jalen Hurts and keep him in the pocket, because, like I said, what scares me, because I feel like we're great on first and down. This defense is great. I feel like our third down is kind of where we struggle a little bit, especially with the running court, especially on third and short, because third and short, Jalen Hurts going to be licking his chops. Sirianni's going to be like, okay, like I said, I truly believe, and I'm not even a coach, scout, none of that, but I truly believe, in you can probably agree with me, if they want to see some weaknesses in how we stop, third down and stuff like that, you can go back to the Raiders game and see how they attacked us. You know what I'm saying? Because Darren Waller was eating all day, because we're like worried about, as funny saying is, we're worried about Jarrett Stidham getting out the pocket. So if we get in third and short situations, third and 4, third and 3, we're really going to have to keep our eye seriously on Jalen Hurts.
My issue with using Waller as a comparison is
he's faster.
He's a lot faster. He's a freak. The dude's a freak. And Goddard doesn't match that. As far as
speed, for sure. No. I think he might be, and I think they're about the same size, because Waller's a big tight end. He's like 6'6", right?
I think he's 6'7".
6'7". Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, and so was Goddard. And Goddard like 6'6".
I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", Goddard. But I'm talking about the speed and the athleticism.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more favorable for us. But I'm just going to say this, and this is something that I will tell you about this team from watching them week in and week out, and watching the games probably 3 times more during the week. I don't think Philadelphia has faced a team this physical. Mm-hmm. And it's all over the field. Like, you put the ball in Debo's hands, he's going to run you over. You put the ball in Jennings' hands, he's going to run you over. Ayuk's going to block you till you're on your ass. Trent Williams is going to put you on your ass. Our offensive line's going to put you on your ass. Our defensive line's going to play physical. Drake Greenlaw will take your head off if he has the opportunity to, as will Hufanga and as will Gibson. We have probably a top 3 tackling corner in Travarius Ward. So I just don't see, like it's not only the skill set, it's not only the coaching, it's not only the X and O's, but it's how many times are they going to get punched in the face before waving the white flag? Yeah. You heard what this Dallas Cowboy team said last year. We were hurting for 2 more weeks after we played them.
Yeah.
Now let's see what Philly's going to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if they can handle that type of team. Because I'm telling you, it's coming. They're going to bring the physicality from the West Coast on that flight to Philly. It's coming. Now, hopefully they can stay within their game plan and keep that style of play. We don't know. But if they can, they're going to wear out because those pass rushers they have aren't exactly big dudes.
No.
Riddick is
Hassan Reddick, yeah.
245, 250, if
Something
that.
like that.
Sweat is 245, 250, if that. You get Trent, you get McGlinchey, you get McGlinchey plus Kittle, you get McGlinchey plus Juice. That's a lot of beating, bro. That's a lot of hitting. So we got to see how they respond to this, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying they're soft whatsoever. They're an NFL football team. They're professionals.
Mm-hmm.
They're physical guys. But it seems like it's a different mentality in San Francisco.
Yeah. I think our X factor, to be honest, is going to be Jimmy Ward. I think they're going to use him all over the place for blitzes, slot, like he always is, stuff like that. Like I know we're going to give our flowers soon, but that dude came up huge in Dallas. You know what I mean? I just think that, it seems like he's back to 100% again, healthy, been playing for a while. So I think he's going to be that X factor, man, in this game.
And anybody see the weather for this weekend?
No, I was just about to ask you that. I know you live over there in that area.
Let me see. Hold on.
I just looked it up. Dallas Goedert is 6'5", 260.
Oh, he's 6'5".
He's 6'5", yeah, 260. So.
Let's see. So I'm going to go off of what's closest to Philly. We're going to go to Atlantic City, which is somewhat close.
Estivo Supremos at 50 degrees.
Yeah, so it's good. It actually says 48 degrees.
Okay. That's favorable weather.
The high. The low is 37 and cloudy. Yeah, so it's not going to be hot. It's not going to be cold. So
that's favorable weather for San Francisco for sure.
But you see, I'm not worried about the weather. I would kind of wish it was cold because the 49ers are built to win in the cold.
Like they did with Green Bay last year.
Yeah. Now the question is Philly built to win in the cold? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chat, if you haven't got your score predictions in, make sure you do that. I'm still missing quite a few of yours. And then go ahead and enter your numbers. We'll do another giveaway before we get out of here. Let's do Thunder and Lightning, this time with George Kittle and Raheem Mostert. Good luck.
I agree, Collie. Fred Warner was an absolute beast last week. Showed everything. Showed no weaknesses. Showed his sideline to sideline, his tackling ability, his the way he covered CeeDee Lamb was off the hook. It's crazy.
Real quick, I know there's a couple new people in the chat. So for those that don't know, we do giveaways. It's from a random number generator. So what you have to do is enter a number in the chat, 1 through 100, and make sure that you don't enter a duplicate. So make sure nobody before you has already entered that number. And then I'll give you guys, a little bit of time to get your numbers in, and then we'll draw a winner. So good luck. Who do you think your X factor, Tony?
Let's see. Let me see. Give me a second. I got to think about this for a second. I'm going to say I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey. I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey because he's going to do it in the run game and he's going to do it in the passing game. And I honestly think they're going to implement that. Remember the wheel route with Juice out of the backfield out of 21 personnel? That's up on a linebacker. I think you're going to see that.
I do too. Because that's an unstoppable move. So who do you think? Who's your X factor on defense?
Defense?
BJ, you need to enter another number because No Border Sports 72 came in before yours. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, Tony, who you got on defense?
I'm going to go. This is tough. I'm going to go Jordan Willis.
Really? Okay.
Listen, no, he's not an X factor. I'm going to say a sleeper. Jordan Willis, I think, is going to be a sleeper. And the X factor, I'm not going to say Fred because everyone mentioned Fred. You guys just mentioned Fred. I'm going to say Dre Greenlaw.
Okay.
I think Dre Greenlaw got to be flying around with his head on a swivel, and I think he's probably the one guy that if this guy starts to run, Jalen Hurts, I think he's the guy that can close on him.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So those are some good picks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same. Yeah, I agree. Throwback. I think he's gone too, bro. But so I'm gonna say. Well, I already said my X factor on defense was gonna be Jimmy Ward. I just think he's gonna go out there and ball out, man. I just feel like his IQ is just so high, and he's everywhere around the field, and it's nice having him, Gibson, and Hufanga in there, all three of them at the same time on certain plays, So I'm gonna go Jimmy Ward, X factor on defense. I'm gonna go Juwan Jennings, X factor on offense. Because just like we mentioned earlier, first and second and third options, if they get locked up, I like Juwan Jennings coming out. Third and Jennings is gonna do his thing. I think, man, he'll be our X factor. And then for sleeper, just one sleeper, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Samson Ebukam. I'm gonna say he has 2 sacks this game.
I think Samson Ebukam needs to have a big game too.
Yeah,
I think go.
Yeah, I think Ebukam. So those are my picks.
Those are good picks.
Yeah.
Good picks. Especially Jennings. I think Jennings could have a decent game. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think they line up A.J. Brown in the slot to go against Jimmy Ward?
Who's their third receiver? Is it still Quez Watkins?
Yeah.
That might be a possibility, just because I feel like Charvarius Ward. Let me see. I don't know, because I feel like Charvarius Ward will do a good job on AJ Brown because he's physical. He's not the fastest guy. Stuff like, even though DK was eaten on the playoffs, but he's fast. You know what I'm saying? DK Metcalf's a 4-3 guy. I don't see AJ Brown's more of a 4-5 dude with suits Charvarius Ward style better, being a slower guy and physical. He can handle that better. If they do that, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad move, but I feel like if they do that, I think Quez Watkins, they're going to use him as like a decoy to go deep to open up things over the middle for Dallas Goedert. He's
going to be the clearer. He's going to run the clearing route to open up the underneath stuff.
Exactly. That's what I think for Dallas Goedert, and for what's that guy's name, Miles Sanders, to catch out of the backfield and stuff. That's what I say. Yeah, Purdy is an X factor, huh?
He needs to be something.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Go ahead.
I don't think Purdy needs to be excellent. I just think Purdy needs to play within the structure of the offense, and he'll be fine.
Same.
Yeah.
Make the throws that he needs to. Like, he made some huge, key third down throws. The one where Christian McCaffrey came out of the slot, and then that one deep ball he threw to Juwan Jennings, on that out route. So yeah, I think also all he has to do. I agree, Tony. Just don't turn the ball over. I mean, what did he have? He only had 200 yards passing, no touchdowns and no interceptions. If we do that, I think we're still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a few. How long you got, Tony?
I got like 5 more minutes. I gotta get to bed. I gotta go to work in the morning.
Okay, let's do a couple over-unders, and you can go ahead and leave whenever. We appreciate you being here. The chat loves you, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
Thanks for having me.
And like I told you the other day, you're more than welcome anytime. You know that. Just let us know, and we'll send you the invite. So let's start with. Let's do Purdy over under 260 yards.
Under.
Shit, I'm gonna say. You know what? Yeah, I'll go under. I almost said over, and I'm gonna tell you why. Another way you take a pass rush out of the game is you get the ball out quick, and we have the best yards after catch guys in the league. So that's why I'm kind of teetering with the 260, but I'll stay. I'll stay under.
Let's do CMC 130 all-purpose yards. Over under.
Under. I'm gonna go under as well.
I'm gonna go 160. You said
130.
130.
130. So if he has a 50-yard run, that leaves him with 80. I'm gonna go over. All purpose. Rushing, all purpose.
Yep, all purpose. Mitchell 75 yards.
Under.
I'll go under with that too.
Me too. Kittle 65 yards.
Over.
Over. Me too. You better. Debo.
Right into the middle of the field.
Yep. Debo 85 yards.
Under.
Receiving or total?
All purpose.
Oh, all purpose.
I'm gonna go over.
I'm still gonna go under because I feel like he's gonna have a heavy doses of Darius Slay.
I'm going over.
Remember what I said? You can line him anywhere on that field.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Ayuk 85 yards.
I'm going under on that as well. And the reason why I'm going with so many unders, to tell you my take, I think Brock Purdy's going to spread that ball around. I think we're going to be. I mean, only way I feel like somebody like that's going to get a huge over is if they break one for a long touchdown. But I feel like it's going to be a heavy doses of. He's probably going to throw to like 10 different receivers this game. I feel like a use check. It's going to be McCaffrey. I'm going to see a little bit of sprinkle of some Jordan Mason out there. I just don't see anybody having like a huge game. I think we're going to spread the ball around pretty equally in my eyes.
The three guys I think that could break it are Debo, Kittle,
Ayuk,
and
CMC. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I went over for the three of them because, like, if you remember versus Seattle, he 65 yards right out the gate.
Yeah.
So that's plus 65, right? And then I think he finished with more than 130 that game. You got to look at it like this, right? If you go quick to Debo, or if you toss it to Debo, or you run a jet sweep to Debo, he could go on any of those.
Yeah, he can.
So you got to keep, and then now you're playing into the middle of the field with Kittle. So that's where the explosion potential is. So that's why I went over with those three. Ayuk, I could see him getting 5-6 catches, but for under the 85.
Oh, for sure. Like 70 yards or something like that. Yeah.
He might even get a touchdown. So, I mean.
Yeah. So last game, just to give you a little bit of what happened. Last game, CMC had 35 yards rushing and then 22 yards receiving.
Yeah, 30. That's out of the norm for him.
Yeah, it is.
That was like the worst game he's had with us.
And he was a little nicked, too, because then they started pounding with Mitchell. But then when Mitchell's on the field, it takes away from the threat of the positionless offense.
Yeah. Mitchell had more carries than CMC. He had more carries.
That's how it's kind of like where someone in the chat said they think they're overrunning or overusing CMC, but no, that's what you bring him in for because he's not going to carry it all the time. He can motion out and catch a slant. He can motion out and run a go route on a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? So there's different ways you could attack with him because of his skill set.
Yeah, I think the way he was used was perfect because they let him get 10 carries behind the line of scrimmage. And then Elijah Mitchell had 14. So you look at the way he was used. He had 10 carries and he also had 8 targets receiving. So I think that's perfect usage to not get him too banged up. You know, and I feel like if they do that again this game, we give him about 10 carries, give Elijah Mitchell about 10 carries, give Jordan Mason probably like 8 carries. You know, you spread it around, keep everybody fresh. So I agree, Tony. I think the way if you saw him getting 25 to 30 carries, yeah, sure. I'd be like, yeah, they're using him too much. But I think 10 carries and 8 targets receiving is not that bad.
49ers defense, 2.5 takeaways.
I'm gonna go under.
I'm going under. I think they get 1.
I'm going under as well because Hurts doesn't turn the ball over hardly, and
No.
they're gonna have to like do strip sacks, do strip fumble, some shit. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Where are we? Juice over under 3 touches.
Over.
Yeah, I'll say over.
I'm
say
going
over.
under. Jordan Mason, 2 touches.
Over.
That depends on the score.
He hasn't touched the ball yet in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
If
that's why he
opposed-
gets. Yeah. So, do you guys think they limit the carries for Elijah Mitchell and give a couple more to Mason? Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, he's dealing with the groin and
Exactly.
CMC dealing with the calf. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I put Jordan Mason on there because I'm like, he might get touches with both of them dealing with something.
And you said 2, right? You said 2 touches. I think over.
AJ Brown, 100 yards.
Over.
Over.
Yeah, I think over too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, 75 yards.
I'm gonna say a push on that one.
Shit, that's tough. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna say under as well on that one. Goddard, 65 yards.
Under.
Yeah, I say that too.
Under, yep, me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under on that one.
And then their running backs as a committee, do they get over or under 100 rushing yards?
Under.
Under. I say so too. All right. That's all the over-unders we have today, folks.
Yeah, I think Goddard might be only have like 30 to 40 yards receiving, but I think he's going to have a touchdown.
Yeah, I could see it too.
Well, who do you think scores touchdowns for us last week? It was only CMC coming through with the one lone touchdown. Robbie had to do all the work.
So I'm thinking we'll only score 2 touchdowns because I got the score at 23. So I think we're going to score 2 touchdowns and then the rest going to be field goals. So I'm going to say our touchdowns are going to be Deebo Samuel and Juwan Jennings.
Oh, okay.
Only 2 touchdowns?
I think we're only going to score 2, and I think those are the 2 players are going to have them. Who you got, Tony?
I'm going to go. Oof, man. I'm going to go Kittle McCaffrey.
Okay.
I have a scoring 4 touchdowns, so.
Okay.
I think CMC, Kittle. I'm going to go Elijah Mitchell. And Deebo. I guess we'll go with Deebo.
Okay.
Full house.
Yep. I have the scores. My score prediction, since I didn't give it before, is 34-30. 49ers.
High scoring, huh?
So it's the battle of the offenses, huh?
Yep.
Even though last week we put the clamps on the number 1 offense in the league.
Yeah, well.
I had to throw you a curveball.
To me, that Philly offense plays way better than the freaking Cowboys offense.
I agree.
So I don't know. They can be ranked whatever, but the eye test don't tell that.
Denise got 27-24, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. If anybody else can get their score predictions in, make sure you get it in. And we're doing a giveaway right now. Make sure you get your numbers in. We're about to draw and get out of here. Anything else, Tony, you got for the people?
No, that's it. I mean, it's gonna be a good game. I just hope they could. I hope they can win this game. I really do. I hope to God they can win.
Yep. It's a tough one. This
Yeah.
morning on Ryan's show, I gave a 1 to 10 confidence meter as of this morning, and I said a 5. So that's
Oh,
where
wow.
we're sitting right now.
Okay. I'm pretty equal to you, Murray. I'm gonna say a 6. Like I was more confident against Dallas.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, we're gonna win, but we're going on the road, and I know we played well, but it's just one of those things. Like this is the NFC Championship. You know what I'm saying? Like teams are gonna go all out. We're gonna get their best. They're gonna get our best, and it just all depends on who executes and who has the least amount of turnovers. That's what it comes down to. And I feel like we're both gonna have a turnover for some reason. I'm not trying to have any bad juju or nothing, but I feel like it's gonna be a turnover on both sides. But I feel like we're gonna overcome that. Like I said, I just think that we're just a better team. We got the better play caller, got the more seasoned staff as far as having D'Amico Ryans and Chris Kacerek, stuff like that. Like we've been there. We've been this is gonna be our 3rd NFC Championship game under Kyle, so his staff has been there. So
Yep. Let's draw this winner. 57.
Drake Greenlaw.
He's gonna have a game.
Tony said it. Let's see where these numbers are.
You want to know why I said that? Because
why is that?
That game last week, he had the ball bounce right off his hands. It could have been a pick.
Oh my God! Yeah.
He was right there.
Let's see if somebody's closer than this.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you guys, you guys can tell me because I didn't really see him playing because I was up and down during the game. Are you kidding me? I was up and down during the game, but did Janoris Jenkins play at all, or was he just special teams? Just straight special teams. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at Izzy winning again with the exact number.
Congrats, Melissa.
Oh, hold on. He said someone. Oh, okay. Never mind. David was saying something else, but yeah, that's crazy. Izzy's on a roll.
So Melissa gets this Thunder and Lightning, and she gets this autographed TDP card as well for guessing it exactly right. Congrats, Melissa.
That's a good point, Peachy. I didn't even think about that.
What'd you say?
I don't. It's on the screen. I'm still nervous about Sirianni being familiar with Purdy and his college coaches.
Don't think for 1 minute Kyle don't know
that. Oh, he definitely does.
So the next card, taking the TDP card for the next person that guesses it exactly right, we'll get this Danny Gray autographed card. So that'll be the next one. Congrats again, Melissa.
I'd love to see him sprinkled in there too. Danny Gray. I have a question, Tony. I never really paid attention to this. I know during the regular season, out of the 53-man roster, you can only dress like 46 or something like that. Can you dress all 50? Can you dress all 53 in the playoffs?
No. You're allowed to dress 48 with the 2 pull-ups.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, I don't understand why you can't do that.
I think in the playoffs, everybody should be able to be activated. You should be able to use all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying?
It's so stupid. Why can't you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, yeah, I agree. I mean, during the regular season, okay, I get it, but I feel like come playoff time, like there could be a key injury that happens or something. You should be able to have all 53 men active in the playoffs just to have all men on deck. I agree with you.
Like, look what happened with a perfect example was what's his name?
Pollard?
No, the kid, Omenihu. He got hurt in that game.
Yeah.
We were down to what? Just Willis and Bosa?
Yeah.
Come?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, man, I was nervous this week. I was telling them during the instant reaction show, normally I'll try to eat, either before the game or if not, then at halftime. And I was so nervous. I couldn't even eat. Like I was so sick to my stomach. Like,
really?
And I feel like this week going to be even worse. And my family is all from Philly, so they're all Philly fans. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, my mom, she's an Eagles fan, already texted me all this shit. And so I'm sure the texts and calls and all this stuff will keep coming in,
Yeah. I know you're ready to go, Tony. I got one question for you. So I was looking at the schedule. I know it's really premature because it's not going to happen probably for another 8-9 months, but I'm planning on going to that Pittsburgh Steelers 49ers game. You think you'll be at that game since you live so close?
I gotta look at it. I gotta see, work and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool.
Think about it. I mean, if it's fair price, like some of these stadiums, it's amazing what you got to pay to go to a game. You know what I'm saying?
Especially too when you're coming from another state. You got to fly, you got a hotel, so it adds up, man.
Like I was actually going to go to the game versus Dallas, but the problem was, I'm sitting there saying, well, how much is the airfare? This, that, this. Then there was talk of bad weather. Because what I do is I go, I'll fly out. I'll take a 5:30 flight out of Newark. I'll fly right into SFO, get in an Uber, go to the game, and then take a red eye home.
Really?
Oh, I do that. I do that. Wow. I do that. It just I didn't know what game we were going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if we were going to be the early game, and then finally they announced it, so I went online to look at the tickets. They went up to $800 for round trip. I said, and when I was originally looking at it, they were $325. I said, I'm not spending $800 and something to go out there, then an Uber there, back, this, that. And I said, if they lose, I'll kill someone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just wondering. I looked at the schedule and I saw they're playing us away. I know Ty Austin, who comes on here and talks to us all the time, he said that's a game he was planning on being at. He lives in New York, and he was saying he was going to be at that game. So, I was like, well, let me talk to Tony and see if he's going to be there as well, so we can
I'll see.
Go to dinner or something.
It's a quick flight.
Yeah, like an hour for you?
It should be an
hour and a half.
Probably.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, yeah.
I'm not driving, I can tell you that. I'll fly.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. Was it like an 8-hour drive if you drove?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Because I know, because I've been to Philly. Because I used to be stationed on the East Coast. We used to drive to Philly all the time and go to South Street and hang out and stuff with the club scene. But I know in Pennsylvania, I know that Pittsburgh's on the western part of Pennsylvania and Philadelphia's on the eastern part. So they're way away from
the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. That's how far out you are.
Yeah.
Hey, Alberto, appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, and we'll see you next time. All right, chat.
All right.
Let's get out of here. Tony, again, we appreciate you so much for coming on, sharing the wisdom with the people.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, just real quick, Miriah, because I don't think we did. I don't know if you did it on the after show. I want to give my flowers real quick for the last game. I'm going to give it to Jimmy Ward. I feel like, that dude was the man. I know I feel like everybody was talking about Fred Warner, but I was looking at the little things that Jimmy Ward was doing. He was amazing, and he caused that second interception for the way he, for his coverage that ended up going to Fred Warner. So I'm gonna give it to Jimmy Ward, and then for offense, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to Brock Purdy. He didn't have an outstanding game, but I'm impressed by the fact that going into a hostile environment against one of the most hated rivalries in the NFL. And he handled it just like a pro. He's so poised to be so young and being a rookie and stuff. So, I'm going to give it to Brock Purdy, and I'm going to give it to Jimmy Ward. Those are who my flowers go to for last week's game.
Yeah, mine were to Robbie Gould for, hitting 4 out of 4, being 13 of our 19 points. We didn't win that game without him. And we see what having, a shitty kicker looks like, from the other side of the game. So. And then Fred Warner, obviously, he led the team in tackles. For him to cover CeeDee Lamb like he did, you just don't see linebackers doing that. They're hands down the best linebacker in the game. I say this all the time. He's the Iron Man of this team, Mr. Consistent. He's always there, play in, play out. He never misses a down. He's, the heartbeat, the quarterback of that defense. And he just gets better and better. So And then I
Agreed.
had some flowers out to Trent Williams for only giving up one hurry to Parsons. I watched this video and it had every play that Trent Williams and Parsons went against each other. And man, the way Trent Williams just moves, the quickness in his feet, like to be that big and be able to move his feet that fast like he does. And, to only Parsons is a freaking animal, that guy, man. And he's like so young, he's just going to get better and better. And for Trent Williams to only give up one hurry against that, shouts out to him.
Yes.
But yeah, chat, we appreciate you all. When we have a guest, we can't be as, interactive with you guys, but you guys have to just sit there, shut up, and listen to our guests. So that's how it works.
You're so sweet, Miriah. I think you're so sweet, Miriah.
We love you all. We'll see you after a win on Sunday. Right back here.
Fam.
Talk to you guys soon. Everybody stay safe.